Well, can herbs really cure chronic degenerative diseases? I think this is a subject which most people don't seem to understand. Generally because most people have actually been brainwashed that conventional medicines have been tested and tried and are the only ones that are available to manage the chronic diseases that we develop. But I do not believe that. First and foremost, you'll find that conventional medicines are products made by pharmaceutical companies. And pharmaceutical companies are generally companies which have shareholders. And the management of those organizations have an obligation to utilize the money invested by the shareholders and give them a better return on investments. So when it comes to allocation of funds, shareholders' funds, in research purposes, the money is supposed to be used on a venture that will bring the best return on investment in terms of business, but not in terms of improving, say, curing a disease. Now, if you cure diabetes, for example, and you get rid of it on this earth through the pharmaceutical companies, and possibly you spend about $5 to $10 billion of pharmaceutical, of the shareholders' money, and of course they want a good return on investment, you find that that is a very poor investment to invest in a cure, and especially if it is a natural product. If it's a herb which can cure diabetes, and you spend shareholders' money in developing the research work and trying to register that product, then you'll find that at the end of the day, if you pronounce that X herb is the one that you're using to make your product, then everybody will rush to the X herb and they will not buy your product. So as a result of that, you'll find that the company will go into a loss. They will not recover the billions of dollars of shareholders' money that they've used in that research. And that's the dilemma we are facing right now. So you find that however much like a pharmaceutical company would like to produce cures, but then they have another people they are reporting to the shareholders. Shareholders believe that the best return on investment is a product that will prolong people's lives. That's why the diabetics get drugs which will prolong their life. If you have high blood pressure, you take medicine for life. It will prolong your life. If you have cancer, you take medications which will prolong your life. If you have HIV and AIDS, you take tablets which prolong your life. So if you have arthritis, you take medications that will prolong your life, but not a cure. So when you prolong somebody's life to live 40, 50 years, swallowing the pharmaceutical company's drugs daily, it basically means that they're going to give the shareholders a better return on investments. But if you came up with a herbal product or food, or come up with, say, a mango or something like cassava, possibly it can cure something X, then everybody will rush for their cassavas. And of course, you cannot patent natural products. Anything that is in nature, God made, you cannot patent it. You have to make a semi-synthetic product, which basically means you have to utilize the shareholders' money in that project. And of course, the whole procedure of coming up with an idea, developing it until it is developed and approved takes almost 5 to 10 years. And you have to do a lot of research work, you have to pay out a lot of money. And at the end of the day, if you're testing a cassava for 10 years, even though you'll say cassava possibly can cure cancer or whatever you come up with, everybody will rush to their own plantations of cassava and use that cassava. They'll not buy your cassava tablets made by X pharmaceutical company. So that company will have actually sunk shareholders' money over the 10-year period. And of course, there's no issue of religion here. There's no saying that, no, you look at gods, no. They're in business, and you're one of the shareholders. If you're shareholding a company, and then you're told after 10 years, your $1 billion has gone down the drain, And even if you're told that it was for improving humanity's causes, you'll refuse, you'll demand your money back. You're not Mother Teresa. So this is why actually we are suffering. That's why situations like COVID-19, we are waiting for pharmaceutical companies to develop their own products, invest their money, and come up with a product that they can dominate the market. If you told them that a certain fruit or a certain herb X can be able to eliminate this virus, they will not be interested in the herb because there's a problem. The licensing procedures, what you're supposed to do, the research and the rest and the number of years and tests, you're going to spend billions and billions of dollars of shareholders' money. And at the end of the day, if the cassava works or another plant works, everybody rush to that plant. And of course, it's a loss because you can't patent natural products. So that's why you find, I think self-care will be a better approach when it comes to healthcare. So if you have a chronic degenerative disease, do not believe that you cannot cure that disease and you are stuck on conventional therapies. We have alternative therapies which you can use. You do not require those research. You can listen to your communities. People used to use certain herbs and they worked. In fact, the best examples are animals in the wild. Animals in the wild. When God created them, God never put clinics, not put doctors. They don't have pharmacies. They don't have pharmaceutical companies. But they are living and surviving very many years. Why? Because when God made man and put man on the planet, God put everything. He made all the diseases that we are going to suffer from. And He put products, He put herbs, He made foods which can be able to cure those conditions. But currently, we have these notions. We've been told to discard herbs, to discuss certain foods until they have been tested. And interestingly, after 70, 100 years, nobody's testing those things. So the question is, why aren't they testing them? And telling people to wait until they are tested, and nobody is testing them. Nobody is ready to fund the research. Yeah? Even if you say a certain plant can cure AIDS, nobody is ready to fund that research. But you're told, don't use that plant, wait until it has been tested. 100 years, it is still not being tested. Because people are more busy on developing semi-synthetic products of that plant, and that's when they want to administer it to human beings. But you find that when you modify something that God made in nature, then toxicity and other things also arises. That's why actually you find that the research process, the testing takes a long time and costs a lot of money. So you can't blame the pharmaceutical companies. At the end of the day, they have to get back their money. Yeah, I mean, they're not Mother Teresa companies where they're giving things for free. They're shareholders. All pharmaceutical companies have shareholders. Yeah, they have shareholders, and the order is direct. I put my money in this business. Get me the best return on investment. A cure, you eradicate arthritis, eradicate high blood pressure, eradicate cancer, eradicate AIDS. Basically, it means the companies will collapse. And what happens? The staff will lose their jobs, they'll go back to farming. Yeah? It basically means shareholders will also lose their money. Now, I think that does not make business sense. Because a business is a tool for making money. That is it. It's not a charitable organization giving things free to people. Because they cannot take shareholders' money for 10 years, then you tell them it's gone. And it can't work. That's why you'll find that most of these companies are reluctant to do research on natural products. Therefore, it basically means that if you suffer from these chronic degenerative diseases, why don't you believe in nature? Nature made you. Don't you believe in the hand of God? God provided everything for you. It is in nature. The wild animals are utilizing them, and they don't need the hospitals. They don't need surgeries. They don't have It's rare that you find animals with diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, cancers. It's very rare. And they're feeding on what God put in nature. And we are also, Adam and Eve, also in nature. So that is the environment in which we are placed. But with civilization, we are distancing ourselves from nature. So the things we are doing, the things we are consuming, the things we are making, semi-synthetic things, we don't know the long-term effect on our health and the health of our children and those who will come after them. These things will have high impacts. We are changing everything in the environment. And that's why you have some diseases which are developing, which are giving us quite a headache in trying to deal with them. That is why I would like to say that I think the cures of virtually all diseases is in nature. That is where you get the cures. But many people ask why aren't those cures in the hospitals? They cannot be in the hospitals. They cannot be in your pharmacy because they have to be researched, tested, and then patented, and then sold. Now that procedure spends billions of dollars, and then when it comes to something that is natural, you cannot patent it, you're not allowed. So you'll make zero, you'll produce a loss in your company. So you have to empower. That's why this channel is created for you. It's called Ask Me Okoko Online TV. Most welcome. This was a question which somebody asked me, why most of these chronic degenerative diseases cannot be cured. Diabetes, arthritis, and so on. I told them I think we are looking, the cure, God has put it in the West, and we are looking north, we're heading north with conventional medicine. And of course it's right. It's a business, and just to create a good return on investment. That's it. They have their orders from the shareholders. And of course you have to listen to your shareholders, they're the bosses, calling shots. But then in the meantime, you also have the power. You have to learn, you can read. There are a lot of material. You can read about foods, you can read about herbs yourself. And those which have worked, use them. Yeah, you don't have to wait. If you stay, you're waiting for pharmaceutical companies to do research for you, they never do it, my friend. You'll just suffer and die. Yes. If you're waiting for a cure, you'll never see it. The medicines majority have is prolonging life, except from antibiotics for acute cases, whereby when you have a bacteria, you simply swallow bacteria, the appropriate antibiotic, it will kill it or kill the parasites. And the disease is over, you get cured. But chronic degenerative diseases, it's high time we become serious and focus our use of conventional medicine, of alternative medicine, and this basically means is empowering our people on diet and herbs. Thank you very much.